Just a quick, very brief introduction to those who don't know me, just about my background and how I came to be in AI. About 30 years ago, when the internet was just text and blue links, myself and a business partner decided to put something different on the internet that wasn't just text and blue links. So this appeared, and it had audio and animations and all kinds of things that had never been seen on the internet. And so people would go, "Oh my God, what is this?" And they'd go inside and they really liked it. So they'd tell their friends. And suddenly we had 1.5 million members. And that was really good. But it was also really bad because we had 100 chat rooms with 1,000 new people a day joining and flooding us with all the questions that new people into a community ask. And we couldn't be in 100 chat rooms at the same time. So I'd heard about this thing called AI. And I was really late to getting into AI because this was 1998 and AI had been around since 1940 something, late 40s. And but anyway, I thought, let me find out, because it seems to me that maybe AI could create what we could call maybe a chatbot who could sit in all the chat rooms simultaneously, the 100 rooms, and answer all these questions. And this is her up at the top, Mina. And she turned out to be great. She turned out to develop a personality and a sense of humor, and people loved her and still do to this day. And she had a lot to do with our success. And because of what we were doing was really different and revolutionary, we got a lot of international press. Now, what happened in the last 10 years was, because I'm a multimedia producer and have a bunch of studios, AI started to come into that world. So I got back into AI, and then 3 years ago, ChatGPT exploded, and I started giving up to 10 seminars a month on AI. And I kept meeting people who wanted to know, what is AI? What can it do for me? How can it help me? How can I use it? And please tell me in everyday language. So since I had a background in communities, I decided to build an AI community for everyday people where people could go and learn about AI and interact and help each other, and where I'm often in there and people can ask me questions and I can help. But anyway, going on to what we're going to cover tonight, as there are loads and loads, dozens and dozens now of video generation tools and image generation tools, and how do you know which is the best and what is the best for which and which does what, and how not to spend a fortune making videos. And this is actually an old slide because newer versions have come out and there are just so many now. And what I want to do before we go into demonstrating what I've found recently is I want to tell you the kind of evolution of what happened. Because originally, 2 to 3 years ago, there was the first generation of image generators. And with those, you paid monthly for each individual tool. Examples were Midjourney for images and Runway for images and video, and then Pika for images, and then later video, and same with Leonardo. Started with images and then went to video. And there were a number of these, maybe half a dozen to a dozen, but they were all individual tools. And so you'd end up with multiple subscriptions, and they all had different interfaces that you had to learn. Midjourney was particularly difficult because even though it produced wonderful images, you had to put all these coding little parameters after your prompt in order to get it to do what you want, which was no fun. Yeah, and some of them were expensive, particularly as you added up all the different subscriptions. So that was the first generation. Then what came out was the second generation, what they call model aggregators, where what they do is they have one platform, you pay one price, and they connect you to multiple different image generators and video generators in the one platform. Examples are WaveSpeed, OpenArt, Higgsfield, Artlist, and there's now probably about a dozen of these. And it's better because it's one interface and access to multiple models, but problems, they're still subscription-based. And credits that they run on now can be expensive. Galaxy AI that you may have heard of is a funny example because they say, hey, we're only $10 a month and we give you 15 million credits. So you get the idea. You can do tons of videos and tons of images. with Galaxy until you try and do a video and you find out it costs you 2 million credits. It's actually really ridiculous. And the other thing I don't like about them is that they're often stripped down versions. They're missing key features of the tools. And it can be really frustrating if one of the features they're missing is something you want. Has any of you experienced these kind of things with the aggregators, or aren't you using the aggregators? Not using them. Oh, okay. All right. So more problems that I find with the second generation of model aggregators is, indeed, what's the problem? High monthly costs. Services like Higgsfield, which are actually, Higgsfield is one of the best. It's got some tremendous capabilities, but they're criticized for being extremely expensive often, with subscriptions costing anywhere from $49.99 to $49 a month. And the subscription markups, users using these tools often end up basically funding a platform's marketing budget through the subscription markups, which are often, or sometimes, not often, but sometimes 4 to 5 times more over the actual price of creating the AI video. So instead, rather than paying the raw wholesale cost of image and video generation. So it's not fun. Another one, and this I've started to see a lot recently, is overblown marketing. Because they're all constantly competing and trying to keep up with everybody themselves and every other aggregator, features advertised are frequently overblown in reality and don't perform as well as are claimed. And there are videos now on YouTube where people saying, I tested all the new features of Higgsfield, so you don't have to. And they're brutal. They show, okay, these are 10 new features. These 4 are working really good. These other 6 are really not ready for prime time. They're just not working nearly as well as claimed. And another thing on that is the false unlimited claims, aka dodgy practices. You'll see companies offering unlimited videos or unlimited No Banana 2, and they're not actually unlimited. When you look in the fine print, you find it's unlimited for the first 30 days, or it's unlimited if you buy our $249 a month package. And even then, it's not quite unlimited, because it couldn't be unlimited. They'd go out of business because they have to pay their costs. Another thing is watermarks. Some services, such as the standard Gemini app that gives you Nano Banana or Nano Banana Pro, include watermarks on the generated images that must be manually removed using external software like Canva. This one is more for if you're doing video or image generation for clients. It's difficult with these aggregators that base everything on credits. It's very difficult to find out exactly how much each client gets for billed for what. It can get quite messy. And also, there have been a number of noted instances where the actual cost of a generation was significantly higher, up to 3 times than what it said it was going to be. And also, some of the cloud-based tools, they will expire your past renders. So in other words, you render something, you create a video, and then you have it up there, and you haven't downloaded it, and it's in your collection, and you think it's safe, and you can go back to it any time. WaveSpeed, which is actually a great aggregator, but my favorite for a long time until I found the tool I'm going to show you tonight. But with WaveSpeed, they had the thing after 7 days, the videos would be deleted. So you had to make sure you had downloaded them. So it seems to me that more ideal than the second generation would be a third generation of buy a tool once, not inexpensively, and pay wholesale generation costs instead of the platform markup. Does that sound like a good idea to you guys?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, me too. I thought so too. And I was looking around and I stumbled upon something that still blows my mind and I still use every day. And my clients are now using. So the third generation, integrated AI studios. Everything built in directly into one tool, but with no ongoing subscription. That's one of the parts I like most. Advantages: one-time purchase, no monthly fees, all tools in one place, faster workflow. So I believe we need a shift in the AI creative landscape from a subscription-based, quote, rental model, because that's all you're doing. You're renting these tools from these aggregating companies, to an ownership-oriented AI studio model where you own it, one-time payment, and you own it. And that's where the subject of tonight's seminar comes in, which is RenderZero Studio. And this is what it looks like. And I'm going to put a link into the chat, and I'm going to ask you not to go and click on it now, because by the end of the seminar, I'm going to give you a discount coupon. So you'll get it even less than the already extraordinarily low price, which I'm not going to tell you just yet, because I'm actually going to ask you, after you've seen some of the features, I'm going to ask you what you think it should cost. But so in the chat, I'm putting this link so that when you're ready, I'll add an extra discount to that link. So now I'm going to go out of the presentation, and we'll come back to it a little bit later. And I'm going to go into the actual RenderZero Studio, because it's actually a download. It's not on the cloud. It's on. You download it to your PC or your Mac, so you can work on it anytime without being online. And I'm just going to show you a couple of quick overview things. Then I'm going to go into detail into exactly what it does. And Barack, who's here tonight, went to one of my earlier seminars on this, and he bought it. So most of this won't be new to him, but hopefully it'll be new to many of the rest of you. So basically, if I said a woman drinking coffee on the corner of Times Square in 2025, it produces that image. And because that's a very basic, simple prompt, but the prompt can grow hugely without you having to write the prompt, because this software writes the prompt, as you'll see. But then I could say, okay, since Nano Banana recently introduced this function of Google search grounding, which means that it can go on the web and find the most recent information before creating its image. So if you're creating an infographic and you want it to be really up to date, you use Nano Banana 2 for that. So here I've turned on search grounding. And so earlier I said, okay, woman drinking coffee in 2025. And then I said, okay, what about 1930? And so it creates the same woman, or actually a different woman in this case, because I didn't ask for the same woman, but it makes everything as it would have been in 1930. And actually what you're seeing here is the fact that I previously said, okay, create 4 more from different angles and so that I can make a little mini movie from it. And I can say that any number of times I want. I could have it make 20 more. But the thing that's fantastic about this program, in a moment, you'll see all the different things you have access to when creating your images. Way, way more than any other program that exists. But the beautiful thing is you don't have to use them at all. You can usually get exactly what you're envisioning in just 2 or 3 of these things. But you have those options there. Okay, let me move down. Yeah, so the beauty is, so you get to create images, and I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of that. But the program also enables you to create videos from your images that you've created. So it's perfect for creating the scene, each scene of your movie to be exactly what you want. And let's say here, I just said she's walking forwards, and the people and traffic around her bustling, and the sounds of people and cars in the background. She says, wow, this is a really great coffee. And it created this video. But look at this. It costs 15 cents. Where on the internet can you get a video made, an AI video, 10-second video with sound for 15 cents? Nowhere. It's more like $2 to $3 with all the other aggregating tools.
Wow, this is really great coffee.
For making lots and lots of videos, it's incredibly economical, because you can make 6 or 7 videos for $1 instead of one video for $3. So that's why I use it so much. But I'm going to go into all the different parts. And like I say, you're welcome to ask questions as we go. I'm keeping my eye on the chat. Oh, Barak, good. Barak says, I'm always up to learning more. Cool. Yeah, me too. Oh, Doug Crowder says, what was the first AI in the 40s? That was where some people got together and started a discussion group on the feasibility or potential or possibilities of AI. But it wasn't until 54 that Alan Turing actually demonstrated it by creating a computer called Eliza and having conversations with the computer Eliza and trying to get to the point where people couldn't tell that they were talking to a computer. And it's been moving forward ever since then. We're still probably not quite at the point where people can't tell, but it's getting closer every day. All right, so up here on the left-hand side is the image generation section, where you basically determine what your image is going to be that you're going to create your scene to make the video from. And you can put whatever you like in here. And as you add things over here, all these amazing things I'm going to show you in a minute, they'll be added to the prompt. So you don't have to write the prompt, it's written for you as you're going forward. So we could say, okay, we want this woman. Now, what kind of shot type do we want? Do we want a bird's eye view, a cutaway shot, a close-up, entire body? You've got like 23 different shots that you can choose from to determine that. And you can also, actually, let me just check if I'm in the right. Yeah, okay. You can say what environment you want the shot in, at a rainy London bus stop at night, or whatever you want to put as your environment for the image. But then you can say, okay, what kind of lighting? And you've got 43 different kinds of lighting to choose from. And like I say, you don't have to use any of these, but it just so you may find something that's just perfect for what you're looking to create. And so you can use that. And then you can tell it what kind of atmosphere or mood you want, moody, cinematic, lonely, melancholic. And then here's the thing that happened about 6 weeks ago that kind of turned the AI image generating world on its ear, because nobody had done anything like this. It also scared Hollywood, because what Higgsfield said is now you can choose between half a dozen $500,000 cameras that we use in real movies. And you can choose the lenses and various other things. That's all well and good. However, not everybody knows what those cameras do or what those lenses do. And Higgsfield doesn't tell you, it just gives you the name. But here in RenderZero Studio, not only is it not just 6 cameras, but it's 49 cameras, but it shows you what the image would look like using those kind of cameras. So you can choose between just those and those of different kinds of cameras. If you see something that looks like what you're looking at mentally, you can try that camera, particularly because it's 2 or 3 cents an image to generate. It's just really, oh yeah, and you can do searches. It's just really inexpensive. But you can also say, what about lens types? Fisheye, anamorphic, portrait, macro, close-up, different choices, tilt shift, things that are used in the movie industry. And you can say fisheye, ultra wide, macro, super telephoto. So you have a lot of different choices to really narrow down how your image is going to be. And film stock also makes a difference too. Different film stocks give images a different look. And so if you're looking for a particular kind of look, a particular kind of era, you can easily get it with this. You've also got aspect ratio, and it includes 21:9, which is fully cinematic widescreen movies. A lot of image generators don't have that. They go to 16:9 max. And then you can say, oh, let me get out of edit mode. because yeah, that's why I was wondering why earlier when I set the shot angle, there's a thing that pops up that says, do you want it front facing, backward, back facing, left facing, right facing? And also this thing where you can say the temperature. Balance means it'll just do pretty much what you ask for, but you can also ask it to be exactly what you asked for, really focused, or give it some creative leeway. It's up to you. Now, some people like the style of different photographers. So you've got 99 different photographic styles to choose from. And like I say, don't get overwhelmed by all the choices, because you don't have to use usually any more than 2 or 3 of the various options available to get what you're looking for. It just gives you the kind of situation where it'd be hard to say, I couldn't get what I wanted, because you've got so many ways to do that. You can even do movie looks. If you like the look of a particular movie, you can put that in. I'll give you a quick example. Sometimes people are doing fantasy movies a lot on YouTube. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, for instance. It has a particular look to it, and you can have that particular look attached to your image. Or Stranger Things, or whatever kind of look you want. There's a lot to choose. There's 120 movie looks, and he's always adding new ones. And there are filter effects. There's about 44 of those. Different kinds of filters. Liquify, kaleidoscope. It's a massive smorgasbord of tools available to you. But like I say, you usually find what you're looking for very quickly without having to do all these. But if you do want to go really detailed and really specific, the tools are available. Now, on top of that, you can create what's called a character. You can upload a face, an outfit, an object or prop, and a scene. And you can have the program combine them into a photograph or an image in whatever way you like. But more than that, you can say, you can put 4 images of each of these things. So you can have your front of your face or the person's face, side view, left, right, back, whatever. So the AI has more information so as to keep your character consistent. And then you've got this character that you can use going forward in all the images and all the videos and everything, so that everything is consistent. And you can also upload referenced images, and you can upload actually up to 14 of them, and they can be combined if you want parts of this image, put this image and this image together with that in that background. So you've got tremendous choices. You can also do a whole bunch of editing on the image, making a specific cropping, or you can brush out sections that you want removed or changed. And, or you can just tell it what you want removed from the image, and then keep everything else the same. Now, if you're doing this thing that I mentioned before of having multiple images created for you, you can turn on a thing called narrative angle prompting, where you can tell it what you expect to see in the different angles. So you can get really specific. Do you guys see how powerful the potential of this thing is?
Totally.
Good, yeah. Because like I say, I use it every day, and it hasn't let me down. And now when you're creating your image, you've got choices of Nano Banana Pro, Nano Banana 2, Seedream, Grok, and some others, depending on which something we're using. I'm not going to say the word now, because a lot of you won't know what it means until I define it and show you what it is, but there are lots more variations. And you can also say, I want the image in 1K, 2K, or 4K, 4K being the most finely detailed image. Now, I'm going to also go through some of these top menus before we go down here into the video area. So you can, of course, save your projects, and you can share projects with other people who have the same program. And it's got a thing, you remember I mentioned before, it was hard to keep track of costs. The cost tracker will tell you how much you've spent on individual systems within the system, and which were the clients that it was, and you've got a history, and you've got The custom rates, a penny, 3 cents, 9 cents. So it's very easy to tie in to any client you're working with the actual costs of your work for them. You've got all the standard editing things, zooming in, zooming out, full screen. And here, oh yeah, checking for updates. Now up here, if you've built the perfect image that you want and you've saved it and you want to start over, you just click clear all and it clears it. If you found an image that you really like that you've created and you've got all these different settings and you don't know how to get them back quickly, presets, you just save it as a preset and you can always get it back. And it comes with a whole bunch of presets like spaghetti western, 60s historical, epic, technicolor movie, modern crime drama, luxury ads, studio catalogs, street fashion, beauty. Yeah, all sorts of different kind of presets already built. So you can use presets to very quickly create the kind of image you might be looking for if it fits a preset. Gallery just saves all your stuff to your own hard drive. So you don't have to rely on, or you don't have to worry about it going away because it's saved. There's a thing called render queue. I don't know if you've noticed with a lot of these generators, if you tell it to create a video, then you have to wait 2 or 3 minutes, sometimes more. I've seen some take 10 minutes to generate the video, and you can't do much else while it's doing that, right? Not with RenderZero Studio because it has a queue. So you tell it to do something, and then you tell it to do something else. Like you want to see the same video from a different video generator, or you want to see the same video with a different prompt, or you want to try something completely different. You can have dozens of things running simultaneously. And as they complete, they'll check themselves off in the render queue. So that's a nice time saver.
That gives me a question, Tony. Can you go frame by frame with different settings? If you want to do something longer, you do 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that.
All right, let me show you the answer to that. Let's go to Kling 3. And here you've got choices of 3 seconds, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 15 seconds. You've also, with Kling, the new Kling 03, you've got a director mode where you can say, I want these 5, anything up to 5 scenes from the one single prompt. I want these 5 separate scenes. Each scene is going to be completely different with what I want in it and the number of seconds it is. And you can create a little mini movie with one prompt when you're in director mode. Does that answer your question? Yeah. And you can do text to video, image to video, audio driven video. You can send up an audio and tell it to create a video for the audio, like a music video. Reference to video, which is like your reference image. And with up to here, I think I mentioned before, you can upload up to 14 reference images, and you can say, put image 1 with image 7 in image 13 in this background and have them doing this, that, and the other, and it'll do that. It'll just create whatever it is you want to create. You can also do start frame, end frame, where you basically put in the start frame, you create with this tool, the image tool, the end frame where you want it to end up, which could be 15 seconds later. And you say, okay, now you create everything that happens in between this start frame and this end frame, which is completely different. And it'll create everything into a seamless video going from point A to point B, which is very fun. You can also tell it what camera movements you want, and there's 26 of them. My favorite one is this one, the dolly zoom. But they've got all sorts of slow motion, pull focus, whip pan, shots like that going around, reverse shot, time lapse, handheld, tilt down, pedestal up, tracking, all the standard shots that videographers have available to them are available to here. And you can just insert at the cursor of your prompt exactly which one of those you want to have happen. So the amount of control is astounding. And the price is just crazy. And then you can say, save the last frame and then use that as the first frame for your next video clip. And then you've got 15 seconds of one, 15 seconds of another, following on seamlessly from your first clip. It's pretty much everything, although he keeps adding new things and not upping the price. So talking of the price, what do you think a tool like this for a one-time payment instead of monthly payments, instead of paying $49 a month or whatever, what do you think a tool like this would cost?
49 one time,
Okay,
lifetime.
that's a good guess. Any other guesses? And while you're thinking that, I'm just going to answer. There's a question in the chat. Do they update as AI changes and advances? Absolutely. That's why all the latest video and image generators are in here. LTX just came out with some beautiful new ones, and they're now in here. Okay, $100 million, says one person. Another one says $80 one time. Polita says, is there a good Mac version? Yes, it's either Mac or PC. Nothing for Linux, but Mac or PC. Okay. Polita says, when creating a character person's face, can you mix several different facial images to create a synthesis of how they look? Yes, you could do that. Lau says, as a former photographer of a decade, I'm so excited. This is so amazing. Yeah, I so agree. I so agree. Doug says, what are these videos being used for? Everything. Social media, promotional videos, YouTube videos, B-roll for your existing videos. Some people are using them. Oh, actually, let me show you. I'm going to go out of here and show you a completely different one. I gave this same seminar to another community this afternoon, and someone came up with a brilliant use case for this. So let me save this and okay, I'm going to show you a very fun case. So here, I don't know if any of you have seen a recent TV show on Netflix called Young Sherlock, directed by Guy Ritchie. It's very good. But anyway, this is a scene from Young Sherlock, and it has the young Sherlock here and the young Moriarty here, and this other woman in the scene. So I have a friend called Neil. Oh, hang on. Let me press the right thing. I have a friend called Neil. So I took an image of Neil and I said, okay, replace the woman here with Neil. And so it put Neil into that movie. But then I said, okay, so now let's take this further. And I had it do this.
How did you get into Young Sherlock, Neil?
I think it was something to do with daylight savings time.
See your reaction, Lacey. So this is a lot of fun, just sending spoof things to your friends of them in doing all sorts of wild things in any century, in any location. But the guy today came up with this idea of you could have a potential client, have a photograph of him from his website and put him in a very funny video or something that would appeal to him, and then send it to him as an introduction. And you'd certainly get noticed if you had your client saying something. In fact, if he was saying something great about his product or service, he'd see the appeal and the power of it instantly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me see if there's anything I haven't covered, because there's so many things it does. Oh yeah, it now includes motion transfer, where you can do the motions, whatever they are, and the image in the video, the image that you've created will follow your expressions and your motions and animations and do it really well. That's already built into this program now. And I think I asked you all how much it would cost, and I don't think I told you. It's $29. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Actually, it's a little bit more expensive. It's $29.99, but I think it's ridiculous.
One time.
One time,
fee.
no monthly fees. It's incredible. Now, the videos do cost, but they cost so little because what we're using is the term I wasn't going to use earlier, but I will now, is API. API is just a connector that enables one program to connect to another. In other words, it enables this program to connect to the different image generators and video generators so as to have their services within this program. And how this program works is instead of paying those companies the premium prices, you basically get their API key. And when you come into this setting, it tells you exactly where to get it. And it's very easy to do. You go to that page and it says create API key and you just paste it in. And I didn't do this one because it doesn't add anything that I don't already have from these guys. But I've got Google's AI Studio. I've got Kai. Kai, because has a lot of different tools and it's the least expensive. File has more tools and is a tad more expensive, but not much. And WaveSpeed has some tools that the others don't have. In fact, I'll go into WaveSpeed and go over here. Oh yeah, it's got this motion control. And yeah, it's got the new motion control stuff. And it's got a one called Pixverse Swap, where you can say, swap this person's face in this video with this person's face, or this person's whatever with whatever. And it's got another one made by another company that's really good for animations. So that's why I have this one as well. And they're all just, the prices are ridiculously low. So that's how it basically works. So you pay $29.99 one time, and then you choose which API key you want to start with. I'd recommend starting with this one, because it's the least expensive and it has a lot of the key tools. And that way you can get used to it. And as you grow and want to add more stuff, you can bring in some of the others if you want. But it's a different way of doing it. And it's a way that A, gives you way more flexibility, and B, gives you way less cost. So to me, it's a no-brainer. What do you guys think?
Totally agree with you. I love it.
Good. Yeah, me too.
No,
Okay.
it seems like it's a fabulous approach, because I think all the things you analyzed in the beginning about the aggregators are so true. And it's sometimes that frustration of having to move between one platform or the other, or not knowing how many credits you're using, and then you have to regenerate. So it sounds like a wonderful evolution.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I'm going to reward you guys for attending to this and listening to me for almost an hour. I'm going to put a little code in the chat. And it's not a big thing, but for attending, where is the chat? Oh, it's over there. If you decide you want to buy it, when you see in the shopping cart $29.99, if you put in this code, which the developer gave me, he actually gave it for me for members of my community, the AI Connection Club, but I'm going to extend it tonight. I know some of you guys are members, but for the ones who are not, put in that code and it'll take another $3 off. So it'll be $26.99 instead of $29.99. Bill says, so you have to render your video in another program. No, it's all rendered here within this program. You see down here is the video. This is actually a different video, but actually,
Wow, this is really great coffee.
but so no, the rendering is done right within the same program. That's the thing I like about it. Everything's in one place. In fact, as one person who bought it said, I love that I just have to open one program, not log into 12 different image and video generator sites. I'm going to answer Lau, who says, how do you get the API keys? When you go up here and you choose one, it'll tell you down here how to get it. The reason it's not with me is because I've already got these API keys. But it'll tell you where to go and how to get it. Okay, let me look in the chat to what Polito is saying.
It also boils down to pretty much you have to have a good prompt, right? To tell the camera exactly.
No, that's the whole thing. It creates the prompt for you. As you add all these things, it creates the prompt here. And if you don't want to use APIs, if you don't want to do that at all, you can say, click copy and put this prompt into Google's Nano Banana if you have free account there, where you get like 20 a day or whatever. You don't, but it creates the prompt. The more of these you add, the more the prompt grows. That's the beautiful thing about it. You don't have to write the prompt. You just start with whatever you start with and add to it, and then it writes the prompt.
That's what I meant. You want to start a video, you basically have to say exactly what you want, angle or what.
The thing is, you create your image first. Once you've got your perfect image for your scene, you put that in and you say what the person is doing. In this case, I said she's walking forwards, etc. And I said what she's to say. Just the basics, very simple, because all the image and the scene is already created from the master prompt up at the top, and it sees your image.
Yeah. What about text to video then?
That's right here, text to video.
Yeah.
Text to video, image to video, audio to video, reference image to video, start frame, end frame.
Yeah.
And this one isn't available yet because the technology is not available, but it's going to be in the next month. I won't go into it, but it's going to expand this thing amazingly. Okay, Polita, best ways to save and organize materials and projects. You can save your projects right here. Save project or save as project, and your videos get automatically saved in a gallery, which is on your hard drive. And the prompts are also saved. In terms of best ways to organize it, that's an interesting question because Manus, did you say you were using Manus?
Me, yes.
No,
Andreas?
Polita.
Yeah. Can you hear me? I don't.
Yeah,
I'm on
I
a-
can.
on
Polita,
a studio
Manus.
monitor. Yes, I'm using Manus.
Guess what?
And
Yes.
definitely organize that by
Yeah, well,
project.
here's the thing. Manus yesterday introduced Manus Computer, which is a download desktop app for Windows or Mac that you can tell it to organize your files in whatever way you want, and it will create the folders and put all the right images in the right folders, and you can tell it to open and close programs and do all sorts of stuff as your personal assistant. So there's more tools coming out every day that enable us to do just more and more things. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat. I'm trying to see. I can't see who this is because it starts as DENI, then it goes ... Philadelphia, New York. So whoever DENII is, he or she says, do you have to pay for each thing you try or just final? The beauty of it being so cheap, to try an image is 2 cents. To try a video is 10 cents or 15 cents. When you've got it exactly what you want, you can put it into another of the more expensive ones if you want, but the inexpensive one is remarkably good. I see, Lacey, you have your hand up, so go for it.
Thanks, Tony. So I was going to create in Fall AI today my AI twin images, and I waited because I knew you were having your seminar tonight. Since this links here, would I be able to upload my photos of myself for that purpose into this for that?
Yep. Yeah, you can upload up to 14.
Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. So let me go back to the chat and see if I've missed anything. Oh, thank you, Tari. Bill Buckman says, so what do you need the API connection for? It's so the program can connect to the video generators and the image generators, but it connects back so that the generations are done inside this program. It's just a connector to the tools that enables you to say what you want to the tool, which is elsewhere, and then have the tool do that and put it back where you started. Let's see. Do you have to
need that.
What?
You need that. You need to connect it to the API.
Yeah, but I say if you don't want to do that, you can just copy the prompt and put it into some other tool that you might have free for a day or something like Gemini. knowing that you'll also have a watermark on the stuff done in Gemini or Nano Banana. You don't get a watermark in this program. Yes, Barbara. Barbara says phenomenal. I completely agree. This is saving me so much money in subscriptions because I don't now have to subscribe to numerous image generators and video generators because they're all in here. That one, let me go to, let's say I go to File, and now I've got 5 of the best image generators, and kind of half a dozen of the best video generators, and they are the absolute cream of the crop. And he keeps adding them as they come out. I wonder, I don't use text to video that much. Let me see if it changes much. Yeah, actually, there's less in text to video than in image to video, which is fine. Image to video is what I use because you use this program to create the images that you make into the videos. And I suggest you guys try start and end frame because it's absolutely amazing because you can create a scene in RenderZero Studio for the start frame, and then you can create a completely different scene for the end frame. And then you tell Kling 3.0 usually to, actually OLTX now, and I think also Seedance and maybe Grok, I'm not sure. But you just tell it to create everything to get from the first scene to the second scene, and it will create whatever it has to create to get from this, which is completely different than this. And it's like what it would cost you to create that in real life with cameras and people and locations is a fortune. And it's done here in seconds for $1. It's crazy. As you'll see if you trying to do it. Then he says, do you legal use of their content? By that, do you mean, can you use their content legally? Yes, so long as you're not doing stuff like taking an image of a celebrity that you don't have permission to use, you can use this for whatever you like. And if you have a style, a director style that you really have seen in a movie and you want to use it commercially, just tell it, show that scene as a reference and say, do a similar scene in the style of this reference image with this particular thing and that particular thing. And that's what you can do. And it's completely legal. Okay, everybody. So unless there's any more questions, I hope you found this useful. And I hope you find this tool as incredibly useful as I find it. Barak, how are you finding it?
Sorry, I had to turn it on. I love it. I love it. I actually didn't use it to the full extent of it, but I had to do some B-rolls for a video ad that I was creating. So I got the idea, the prompts and so on. I was creating images with that, and then I was animating those images. And I didn't use all the cameras and stuff like that because I have my own bots that give me the idea. This created, I checked several images and videos, and I got better results here than going directly to the tools. For example, if I went directly to Nano Banana with the concept, even if I got the same prompt, let's say I got the prompt from here, got a certain image, got it in Nano Banana directly on Gemini, consistently, I got better results here. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but I find the same thing. That's why I've gotten rid of so many other things, and now I just use this. If I want an image, I know I can always do it here. If I want a video, I can always do it here.
Yeah, the way I needed only a few seconds from each B-roll, from each concept. So I can basically tell it, I think the minimum here is 3 seconds. And sometimes I needed a shot that is frantically like I wanted to create anxiety or something like that. So I needed a second here and 2 seconds here and so on. But I still could produce it and cut it. And
oh yeah, in CapCut you can chop them very easily.
Yeah, or other softwares. But anyway, I had a very good success with it. I really recommend it. It's nothing. It costs like nothing.
I know.
And, And yeah, I'm very happy with that. And like I said, I didn't even scratch the surface because the only thing I needed is just to put the prompt at the beginning. I didn't choose the cameras or the angles or anything else. I just used it like that. And it was
Very
good.
cool. Very cool. Thank you. I actually saw that video you did. It was excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, Karen says, as always, miracles on our doorstep. Hollywood can worry, but they can use it. Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they'll take it to the max. But what a great equalizer for all creatives. So true. Tari says, last question, do we use the link you gave us to sign up and buy the studio? Yes, absolutely. Because, oh, thank you, Denny. What is your name? It just says DENI. I'm sure. Oh, it's Jazz. Oh, hi, Jazz. I know you. Oh, cool. Your name comes up as Denny ... Philadelphia, New York City. Okay, thank you guys for being a very inspirational and interesting audience and delightful to interact with.
Thank you, Tony.
You're very welcome. And I hope you have a lot of fun. And I'd love to see what you create with this amazing tool.
Thanks, Tony, for everything.
Thank
It's
you,
wonderful.
Tony.
You're
Thanks,
very
Tony.
welcome. You're so
Thank you.
welcome, guys. So I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to close the meeting.